If you master the scientific trading method as a PSL luxury trader, you have already got yourself a sure footing in a market that so many persons are afraid of, and you become a master of it. That is your key to daily income that knows no bounds. And it is so easy and so simple. So all you have to do is register for the PSL Luxury Trading Masterclass, and you get that exact knowledge, technical knowledge and scientific knowledge of the market. This is evidence-based trading based on mathematical rules, not hearsay, nor fearful thoughts. So I'm going to see you inside when you ask for the link, and I will be sending that to you, and you join the PSL Luxury Trading Masterclass. See you.
Okay, so let us look back at how do we give entries that we base our income program on. Remember, this is trading the financial market, right? And in trading the financial market, everyone knows that there is risk involved. Even the broker will tell you that you should not trade with any money you are not willing to lose, which means that the risk disclaimer brings to your notice that risk of trading, and fear of taking this risk has make a lot of people to also miss the potential reward. Why do we trade? Because there is a reward highly probable in our setup, and it is because of the reward that we have something we can pay out consecutively, consistently, continuously. Okay? And with a number of people who work from our hubs, we pay out even we pay out even better than most platforms with our stories. How do we achieve that? What is the underlying principle of our entries that makes it easier for us to have 720 people recruited every week in our master classes, trained and deployed to work remotely, working from our hubs, and still getting paid every week based on an hourly rate we've already set, which is $5 to $9 per hour and $10 work hour weekly set for all recruited. Imagine this number we're talking about, consistently recruited. And if you are not yet one of them, I'm talking about those who are getting to know about the PSL Cowork Network for the first time. You might have to try to join the masterclass in the next week. So we have weekly masterclasses. You don't know how we are able to coordinate 720 persons, but we do it because we already have our master program available. So once you are registered, you take your training. There is no waiting. Once you are registered for the master class, once you are enrolled for it, you take your training. You are not waiting for any other person. Once you complete your training, you are automatically deployed. You are not waiting for any other person. And our weekly goal is to train 720 persons. Our enrollment is ongoing, continuously. That means that as far as we are able to achieve our weekly goals, we can continuously have 720 new persons deployed to work for our co-work hubs, that is PSL co-work hubs. So when working for our co-work hubs, the instruction we give all who work for us is very simple. We give this instruction because we ourselves use our powerful scientific trading method, which is proprietary to us, PSL Cowork Network, for PSL luxury trading, which it is not available to people outside our network. So people outside our network can only learn about our PSL, only learn about our powerful scientific trading method by enrolling in our school. Okay? So if they enroll for the powerful scientific trading school, they can learn the powerful scientific trading method. But people outside our school, people outside our network cannot learn this. It is controlled knowledge, controlled information. So we use this knowledge, this proprietary method known as the scientific trading method, developed by Francis Bestman And that is the voice you are hearing right now. The founder of Power 40 Scientific Trading School, okay, and the founder of PSL Luxury Lifestyle brand that owns the PSL Cowork Network in affiliation with HROM Careers Academy, and continues to build this program, upgrade and update it to stay relevant. I am not giving you something that is stale, that is general, that is already out there. No, this is something that evolves every day. So when we use this method to find our day's entries, I want to discuss how we get an entry that has highest probability of profit despite the risk. How do we do that? That's a simple secret I want to provide here. Not so that you can do it, because I'm not giving this lesson, but so that you will know that we actually do something that is special. Okay, so this is the secret. Using the method, okay, of price projection and price sequencing. Okay, so we have two things. Price projection, it tells us the direction of trend for the day. That's price projection. And for price projection, we use in what is available in our course called the buy base and the sell base. Of course, you cannot replicate this on your end unless you have already enrolled for our course. You see why I said I'm not giving a lesson. I'm just stating the facts on what is done to tell you that everything we do is based on something already available for those who are learning from our master class series or those who are learning from our school. So if you wanted to learn from our master class series, which means you'll be having access to your mentor directly, that is me, Francis Bestman Isugu, you will enroll in the master class for $80, okay, that's per series, or you enroll for the lesson on the website, that's Power 40 Scientific Trading School. Okay, you can enroll and learn. So what I'm talking about is already contained in our lessons or in our master classes. So now I'll just go straight to what I'm trying to explain, that we have it already figured out. So before a setup is given, this is what we typically do, so you know that we have a blueprint. First of all, we do price projection. I told you there are two things: price projection and price sequencing. Price sequencing is our scientific method itself. Price projection is our mathematical rule. Okay, so we are combining mathematics and science. So for the price projection part, we have two levels created, okay, by the market. We don't create these levels for the market. And these levels are named the buy base and the sell base. They are always there. The market always prints them out. Now, when the market forms this buy base and the sell base for us, we use our projection tool. And first of all, we want to find the deviation limit, because that is the point from where, if the market breaks beyond that point, there's going to be momentum to the direction of break. Okay, and previously, before 2026, the projection goes around 200 to 300 pips. Okay, but coming from 2026, the projection now goes to 2,000 to 3,000 pips, which means there is a 10 times upscaling done on the standard measurement for gold in the financial market. There is already an upscaling done. So for us who have a projection tool, we have to upscale our tool too, which means that our deviation limit that has previously been in our lessons for 30 pips has now officially been upgraded and upscaled to 300 pips. So I'm stating this for the importance of taking note, okay, that we're using an upgraded scale based on the upgrade that has been done in the market already. So now when we have the base, which is either buy base or sell base, we use our projection tool to find the deviation limit first of all. Okay, and deviation limit for a buy base is 300 pips right now below the buy base, or 300 pips above the sell base. So that is standard we have set in our Powerful Scientific Trading method. All right, using the mathematical rule. You see, I'm measuring numbers. So 300 pips below the buy base, that is a standard, and 300 pips above the sell base, that is a standard for measuring our deviation limit. And like I said, this deviation limit is only known and utilized in the Power 40 Scientific Trading School. So this is a language that we ourselves own. It is our language. Deviation limit. We also have cycle limit. So cycle limit is the full scale of break of deviation limit. That is a cycle limit of a market's direction, okay, for the day before a retracement is expected. So when market moves in a trend direction, it has to make a move to complete a cycle of trend before a retracement move begins or gets expected. So which means that the trend cycle continues until the cycle limit is reached. Once the cycle limit is reached, we change our projection from trend projection towards retracement projection. And retracement is correction of trend consecutive impulses, whether there was one impulse, one major impulse, and other strings that follow, or there were several impulses or several strings. Whatever that is, the retracement has to correct the total trend move by a minimum of 50% before reversal back into trend. This structure is also proprietary of Power 40 Scientific Trading School, which means you cannot learn this anywhere else. This rule and how we also determine trend impulses is also something unique to Power 40 Scientific Trading School. You can't find this anywhere else. So whatever you learn online, from YouTube videos, whatever platform you belong to that you are learning about trading, if you are not in the Power 40 Scientific Trading School, you cannot know what I am talking about. So if you really wanted to master this, you have to be in the Power 40 Scientific Trading School and learn for yourself and start trading scientifically. You can see I'm mentioning these exact rules because they are available in a format already created, okay, in a series of lessons that you can enroll for in Power 40 Scientific Trading School, or you learn at once in our masterclass series. We have 36 masterclass series, and to your interest and advantage, if you were able to join our masterclass first series, you have the opportunity to work from our co-work hubs virtually or in person. So if you cannot find a hub closest to you, or we have not yet opened a hub closest to you, it means you work virtually until we have a hub closest to you. There is no limitation, okay? And then the reason for working from our hubs when we have a hub close to you is so that you don't feel burned out while working from home, okay? Or get discouraged while working from home. No, we want to make sure that you work like an elite, live like a boss, okay? And that is our slogan in the PSL Cowork Network. So work like an elite and live like a boss. So now that I have already mentioned that there is advantage for learning from our master class, I'm not talking about from the school. Okay, if you learn from our master class, you will join our Cowork Network. So that is the difference between learning from the school, which is self-paced learning on Power 40 Scientific Trading School. Self-paced learning, you learn on your own at your own pace, okay? All the courses are available already on our web page. But if you learn from our school, you only join our web community, our online community, but you trade by yourself, trade on your own. If you have questions, you can always ask them in our community. That's a different thing, right? But if you learn from the masterclass, if you enrolled for any of our 36 masterclass series, the first masterclass series you enrolled for will qualify you to work from our hub. You get automatic acceptance as a professional worker for the PSL Cowork Network. And what you do for us is simple. You take trade instruction that we send you. They are assigned tasks. You complete each task and we pay you $5 to $9 per hour. So according to your performance, your hourly rate will be increased from $5 minimum. So everybody starts from $5 minimum. As you continue to work from our hub, we keep increasing your hourly rate until we get to $9. Okay, so starting with $5 per hour. Now, when you have worked for our hub for a week, we pay you at the end of the week. No stories, and your payment is not consequent upon the market behavior or outcome. Your payment is based upon tasks you have completed and sent your report, which means it is not a conditional payment, it is a guaranteed payment. And this is why we stand out among freelance platforms in 2026. So if you are looking for work, a remote work or a freelance work, virtual assistant, whatever professional work you are looking for, that you needed to work for a client from home using your expertise, you will not find a work that is more certain of continuous, consistent pay as working with PSL Cowork Network. And the only way you get access to work with PSL Cowork Network is if you are enrolled for the PSL Luxury Trading Masterclass. So that is the emphasis I have laid here, so that you know why you are enrolling for a masterclass. It's not just any kind of masterclass. You enroll for this masterclass and you get work automatically, because we start assigning you tasks. You complete the task, you send your reports, we grade and we score you based on your task. Every task completed adds up to the total task required to get paid for the week. No task is discounted, which means you cannot work for free while working with PSL Cowork Network. You don't fail on any task. So it is not about whether you traded profitably or lost. No, there's a difference between being a trader, trading for yourself, and working for the PSL Cowork Network. When working for PSL Cowork Network, you are trading, but you are not trading for yourself. You are trading for our stakeholders and for the hub. Okay, so we assign you a random account to trade. You log in, you execute our trade instructions, and you follow our instructions. You don't follow your own instructions. So which implies you do not do any analysis for yourself, no emotional baggage, no self-sabotaging for losses. Okay, everything you do is according to instruction. You log into one account, you trade on the account, you log out, you log into the next account as assigned. We assign you the task, so there is steady work, there is guaranteed work. Okay, and you don't get exhausted, no hustling, no grinding. All right, this is why PSL Cowork Network stands out in 2026. So if you have ever worked as a freelancer on any freelance platform, if you have ever sought remote work, you need to work for PSL Cowork Network. You don't need someone else to tell you that we are the best work platform in 2026. And see how growing and consistently growing we are. Okay, we are training 720 people weekly. 720 people weekly remotely. They enroll for our master classes, okay, and they start working. You don't even get to know them, but we now encourage our members, okay, especially those who work from our hubs, because of sponsors who we need to promote. Okay, we encourage them to post their daily work outcome, especially their weekly payout. Also, we encourage our stakeholders to do the same thing. So once you get paid, you can broadcast it. That will help us to also reach out to more persons who we need to join our masterclass and also get work from us. Also attract stakeholders who we need to auto diversify their income streams sustainably, okay, by funding our co-work hub. That is the essence of posting. Then we also have referral program where if you invited anyone to enroll for our masterclass, we pay you $5 for every invite. So which means you have the opportunity to become a partner promoting PSL Cowork Network. If you use an online channel to promote us, and you can track all those who join our program through your promotion, you can also get paid for all who join our masterclasses. Okay, and these masterclasses are repeated on a weekly basis. So imagine how many masterclasses endlessly you can earn from just by inviting one of the 720 people, because we lock our masterclass enrollment, okay, number or seat or slot to 720 weekly. So if you did not get the opportunity to promote the previous week, the oncoming week you can promote it. Okay, just promote it on your own and track it, so that the number of people who join our masterclass, especially use a web form. Okay, use a web form to track people who are interested from your own promotion, then refer them, maybe create a community for yourself also, and make sure that they enroll for our masterclass. Remember, you are helping them to find work, steady work that gets them steady pay, $5 to $9 per hour. You can hardly find this guaranteed job and work in any other freelance platform. That is why you should be promoting PSL Cowork Network. So back to how we determine our entries. So like I've mentioned, we have our specific rules, okay, mathematical price sequence, and also our scientific price projection. Now, when we use the projection tool and we see the market comes first of all to engage with the deviation limit, this is what we do. We already anticipate break of what deviation limit. Now, instead of us to place a stop order at that point or an instant order, okay, we give a call, okay, to place a limit order 200 pips deviation from where? From the deviation limit itself. Why do we do that? Because we want to protect that entry from drawdown, which means we have envisaged the risk of that entry. Instead of us to trade an instant order when we know the market can still reject the deviation limit if it's not willing to buy yet, okay, or if it is not willing to sell yet, what we do is we want to watch the break first of all. We want to see a successful break from the deviation limit occur, which shows the market's interest in breaking, not rejecting. If we see a rejection the first time, it means we are not going to give an entry call yet, okay. But if we see a break, which means that the deviation limit has been weakened, even though there will be a delay, okay, for the market to move smoothly, what we are going to do is we are going to give an entry call 200 pips deviation from that deviation limit. You see what we do? That is tactical. Based on that, where if we had given an entry at the deviation limit break as a stop order, it means that our stop loss would have been 200 pips deviation, okay, from deviation limit. Now we are taking advantage of that stop loss price where market would have gone to first of all trigger to take us out. We want our entry to be set at that stop loss price, okay. So the moment we have been able to give that call, of course that will not happen immediately, but that can happen. So we are taking that high probability that market will first of all go to stop hunt, okay, and we take our entry there. Now remember that 200 pips is now very close to what the base itself, which means the base will act as either support or resistance depending on which of the base, whether it's a buy base. If it's a buy base, the base itself will act as resistance. If it's a sell base, the base itself will act as support, right? So that is extra protection for our entry, because now that we have set our limit order at 200 pips deviation from the deviation limit itself, we're going to still have a 200 pips stop loss set on that very trade. All right. So based on that setting, we now have 100 pips deviation from what the base itself added, which will protect our entry. So even if the market goes back to engage the base, which rarely happens, okay, the market will finally reject and come back. And that is when we can now have our stop order placed. If that happens, that the market, having broken the deviation limit, returns to activate our entry, fails to go into profit, and instead goes to break our base to hit our stop loss, as soon as the market triggers our stop loss, we're going to have a stop order placed, because at that point, any return below the base, if it was a buy base, will come with a momentous move to break the deviation limit and push price where below to the circle limit. So circle limit becomes our take profit price. And because we are using a 300 pips deviation limit, the average profit circle for a circle limit from deviation limit down to the 261.8 level, which is our take profit level, okay, is going to be about 1,500 pips, while we have our estimated profit at 2,000 pips to 3,000 pips, right? So we are going to have our first take profit at where the 261.8, which is about 1,500 pips. based on the new scaling of gold in 2026, it is highly probable that we are going to achieve 1,500 pips on that entry. Okay, now we are now taking a risk to reward ratio of what? 1:1.1:10. That is our standard for 2,000 pips and 200 pips. Okay, where stop loss is 200 pips and take profit is 2,000 pips, that will be 1:10, right? But now what we do, since the task is given once for every account, we have to use a reduced scale profit from 2,000 pips to 1,000 pips. So that makes it what? 1:5 risk to reward ratio. So which means that for every entry we take, we are having a risk to reward ratio average of 1:5, while our ideal risk to reward ratio is 1:10. So that is to make sure that we are not leaving profit on the table or money on the table, just where in case the market reaches a key level and bounces on it, okay, does an early retracement before returning to break the last level to the circle limit. So we have three main levels, okay. Market can go to the 61.8 level, or the 161.8 level, or the 261.8 level. So now we want to make sure that we take our profit before or around the 161.8 level. That's our first profit. So, but if it is not equal to 1,000 pips, okay, then we'll take our next profit or our main profit or our first profit at the 261.8 level. So we already determined that, having put our projection tool on our chart, we now know whether we'll keep our take profit at 161.8 or we'll keep it at 261.8. So if 161.8 is far enough that it exceeds the 1,000 pips, okay, minimum profit target, then we'll use 161.8 as our profit target, first profit target, right? But if it is less than 1,000 pips, then we'll use 261.8 as our profit target. Why our total profit target should be 2,000 pips, okay? Then it means if we have backup entries, we will now target our second profit target, which will be 2,000 pips to 3,000 pips. So for all our traders, which means all those who have been trained in our Power 40, in our PSL Luxury Trading Masterclass, okay, who now become our traders, our entries given are not questionable. I've already explained the logic of our entries. Because they are scientific, they are experimental, okay, we've already had our observation of a breakout, okay, whether partial or complete breakout. Once we see a closing below our deviation limit for a buy base or above our deviation limit for a sell base, we call for an entry and assign the entry as a task, giving the instruction to place a sell limit, okay, for a buy base entry or a buy limit for a sell base entry. Why? Because we are anticipating successful breakout from the deviation limit. So we set our first entry price at 200 pips deviation from the deviation limit itself, okay, and then our stop loss is 200 pips deviation from the entry price itself, while our take profit is 1,000 to 2,000 pips per entry. This already calculated, already factoring in where the market can reject and bounce off, maybe do a pullback, okay, or reach a key level and retrace, do an early correction, or complete the circle, okay, before a retracement. We already figure it all out. And from all our trading tools, okay, we have applied for 2026, we have seen that the market consistently respects our projection, which leaves us with nothing but that optimism for high probable profit on trading. Okay, high probable profit on trading. Something that others currently have no sure conviction that they can achieve. We already have a conviction scientifically proven. Okay, we are proving it steadily, daily with results. Even right now, it is proven on our screen that our projection tool is 100% accurate. We beat all other trading methods. Okay, whether they are robot setup or they are use of indicators, we beat them all with our scientific method. And this is why we are different. Why others have a structured pattern that they've tried to see it repeat. We follow the changes in the market and update our system and our tool to adapt to the change. We are more flexible and at the same time consistently profitable with our method of trading, which is scientific method of trading. This is what keeps us above others, many steps ahead of others, with an edge that others cannot beat. Okay? We reel everyone else, beat the pants of our competitions in the financial market. All institutions put together. Okay? So if anyone still downplays the importance of working with the PSL Cowork Network, tell them that they are only ignorant of how our trading are generated, our trading instructions, trading costs are generated. So working with PSL Cowork Network is the best work in 2026 and beyond. If you want to see this in action.
So this is me on a new day. We are talking about the first day of the week in the month of February. And this is the path to my work site, working at night alone. So I want to talk about what I have discovered for the week of February, starting in the financial market. My core asset, which is gold, has been tampered with by the global standards set for tracking, observation, technical analysis, and I must say that there is only one person in the world who has the answer to what is happening in the market, and that person is luckily me. Now, today I was able to track the market's movement using the same Power 40 scientific trading method, which is proprietary to us in the PSL Cowork Network. No other trading institution has the perfect scientific method for monitoring the market's behavior and doing accurate projection of what is expected, okay, of price at any given time. It is only in the Power 40 Scientific Trading School's lessons that we teach how this is done. And that is the advantage those who enroll for the PSL Luxury Trading Masterclass have over all other traders all over the world, globally. Because you will learn and master the scientific trading method, the same method that we use to understand markets behavior and even predict future changes. I have demonstrated this in the month of December. I also did the same thing in the month of January, and now in the month of February, when everyone is running away from this global asset, gold. I again have been able to track effectively, accurately what is happening, that gold has become very volatile. So in the week ending the month of January, gold closed with over 7,000 pips of movement in one day. And in the first week also, which is starting today, 2nd of February, gold has made a move of over 4,000. Okay, so that's moving all the way from a high around 4.8, okay, 4.868, down to a low around 4.404. That's over 4,400 pips. Now, many people who have their robots that's algorithmic trading bots set up. Currently, we'll be experiencing massive loss, okay, huge loss in their trading program, and all their investors will be seeing their accounts liquidated because their systems have not been updated. Now, like I said, while others are facing this challenge, I am enjoying the fact that my system was built to adapt to changes because of the price sequence that our scientific method tracks mathematically. I've done a video in the first lesson of the Power 40 Scientific Trading School lessons where you can learn exactly what this price sequence look like. So if you enrolled for the master class, this will be the first lesson you will be learning and mastering. You don't want to miss it for any reason in the world. So I bring you Power 40 Luxury Trading Masterclass. Enroll for it if you want to become a member of PSL Cowork Network. Enroll for it, and also if you want to start working as a trader, okay, I have already stated this on the first day of February that we now have opportunity for those who want to work full-time as traders. Now, it's not like any other program you have joined that's for fixed income. Here we are talking about you having the possibility of earning $5 to $9 per hour working from our co-work hubs. Now, I remember someone, a professional on LinkedIn, who I had to invite to join this program, and he said he was looking for a more conventional employment program. And I wondered, what do you call conventional? Okay, it's a traditional opportunity like a formal employment. In working with us at PSL Cowork Network, you are not doing anything that is strange. In fact, the reward we give, you can't get it anywhere else. And yet the work comes with leverage, something you can't find from any other formal employment program. So we are offering you $5 to $9 per hour. If you joined, this is what you are going to be getting. So I hope I'm going to have a lot of interest coming from you, those who would want to become members of PSL Cowork Network. Congratulations in advance for the success awaiting you in PSL Cowork Network. So now we have another example of a market that needs to be, first of all, projected. So at the beginning of the day, the first thing we want to look at before we give our traders a task will be to make a projection. Now, wherever we meet the market at the time of our analysis is where we begin to do our projection from, which means we can never be late in the market because the market always moves within a circle, and that circle either completes or is just starting. So right now, we are looking at a new day where we first have to do the projection for the day. So let's go into projection mode. So to begin projection, we have to bring in our tool, and that is our channel tool. And since we are seeing the first formed base of the day is a buy base, it means we are going to do a buy base break sell projection. So we want to first of all do a buy base break sell projection. So firstly, we place our first line of the tool on the high of the first candle that forms the buy base, and then we measure the closing price of the candle that ends the base. So 4711 means we are going to set our deviation limit at 4681. 4681. That will be 300 pips. 4681.63. and editing our tool, we will use the third point to set our base 4681.63. Then we equate the midpoint price with the first point price. So that is where we have our setup for the first projection of our buy base deviation limit break to get our sell projection. Now there is something that stands out with our projection tool. Like on a day where we've not seen a counter base formation, it means we have to first expect the formation of our counter base, and once it forms, we have also not seen the test of our first base that formed, which means we have to expect a market return to test the first base that formed. Now, the market is not obliged to first break the base that forms first. No, the market can form a base, bounce on that base, okay, even before test. So at the point of creation, the market can bounce on the base and go look for a fitting point to create the next base, which is called the counter base. So if it was a buy base that forms first, the market will have to bounce on it and go form a sell base. But before forming a sell base, something attracts the market to the opposite direction, and that is a previous day's base that has not been tested. Okay, so just like on the previous day, the market created a sell base that was not tested and then went down to break the buy base. Okay, so now today's market formed a buy base and has not tested it and has gone towards test the previous day's sell base that was not tested. It is after testing the previous day's sell base that we can now start expecting a formation of a day's or today's own sell base. Then once we now have our two bases set up, we now know that either of the bases will break first. If the market has broken the buy base, okay, beforehand, it means that it will go and test the sell base. If the market has not broken the buy base and has not tested the buy base that forms first, it will have to first of all form the sell base, okay, and then test it, either break it first or reject it and return to test what the sell or the buy base that formed first. So renaming our tool, that will be 10 times break entry projection. We expect that a buy base that break will lead to a sell outcome. So right now we have our buy base set, and we can clearly see that our buy base has not been tested yet. Its deviation limit has not been tested yet, and the market is here to form what? A sell base. So while we wait for the sell base to form, we look at the previous day's sell base and see where it was and whether or not the market has engaged with it yet. So going back to the previous day that formed a buy base that was broken and a sell base that was not tested, the sell base stands at 5017.82 and the market today is at 4855. So which means there is about 1,500 pips ahead of the previous day's sell base. That means the market needs a strong push in order to get to the previous day's sell base and test it. That would mean forming what? A new sell base for today beforehand. So which means we cannot expect the market to move without any push to that previous day's sell base. It needs a strong push to get there. So the previous day the market reached a low from 50 of, okay, the market made over 3,000 pips move, or approximately, okay, not exactly over, but approximately 3,000 pips move, reaching a low at 4790 from 5017. And then today the market dipped at the beginning of today to 4652. That was before forming the base. And if you see this 4652, it's already beat the previous day's projection. okay, the 261.8 previous days projection. And starting at this 4652, the market bounced up, formed the days buy base, did not test or break the buy base deviation limit, but continued above the buy base, okay, to the point where it has got to, and is yet to form the day's sell base. So what we are waiting for now is for the market to form the day's sell base. And we cannot give any entry call yet until we see what the day's sell base formation. This is how we do our projection. We don't rush into the market. We don't call when we are not certain. We must find our basis for entry. And then when we have got our basis, we want to see how the market engages the basis deviation limit first before we do a projection. So our projection is always at the point when the market gains strong momentum to move in either trend direction to the upside or trend direction to the downside. So right now, we have not seen that strong momentum. Despite the total move made already, see the market has already made 2,000 pips move. Look at that. From 4653 to 4853. This is already 2,000 pips move. And yet, we have not got an entry for the day. How do you see that? So this can happen. And this tells you that the market is already moving on a higher scale, as you can see. Previously, this market needed 1 full week to make a swings 1,000 pips move. Okay? But right now, the market is doing 2,000 pips move in 1 day. Previous day, the market did 3,000 pips move. You can see that, right? And that is really an exciting thing for us because this is where we can get higher value for every trade entry we find. So sometimes when your analysis has been done, the market may not quickly move into profit. And that is why we are not really bothered about how quickly the market moves into profit. Every entry that is taken is held for the day until the take profit is reached. We don't come and alter our entry. That is why when we assign task, we assign the task once. Okay? So we assign the task so that this task can be taken and another account can be logged into and the task repeated on that other account. So we have multiple accounts that we assign to our workers in our trading hub, and then as they perform one task, they log out of that account, enter into the next account that we assign to them. So on average, each person gets about 12 accounts to perform a task on. And like we said, performing this task qualifies them for pay of our hourly rate of $5 per hour. Okay? And this task is just as simple. We first of all find an entry point. Okay? Haven't done our projection. Then we assign the task. We list out accounts and assign them to different trained persons in our work hubs, okay, in our co-work hubs. So the way to get into our co-work hub and to enjoy what we do is by enrolling for our masterclass, where we train you to have what it takes to perform our task. Then we test you to see how fast you can execute our task. Then we officially welcome you into working with us and start assigning you tasks. It's as easy as that. To perform this task, we have the aggregate for the week and we pay you the total hours. Okay, so we have a net hour projection of 10 hours per week, which means however slow you are, you can achieve 10 hours per week to earn at least $50 per week from working with us in our co-work hubs. So imagine that you had to just enroll for our masterclass at the cost of $80, and after completing the lesson, you immediately take the test, get qualified, start working with us, and start getting paid weekly by working with us, performing tasks daily. This is a revolution in remote work that has never been before, and you have sure, steady job. Okay, every day you get job that you can get done successfully to get qualified for payment. So I'm explaining how we project our days entries and we give this entry calls. Once a call has been given, as far as the market has confirmed from our entry level, we have nothing to do, no altered we do not alter our projection. So let's look at our yesterday's entry from 200 pips above the buy base deviation limit. That would be at 4987. So from 4987, a 2000 pips profit will be at 4787. If that was our profit, that would be 4787. The market made it to 4789, 4790, shy of 30 pips. But as the day ended, the market completed that move, closed the day touching 4759, which means it exceeded our 2000 pips profit projection for the day, and it never went back to alter the trade plan. So which means that entry we gave earlier in the day already achieved its 2000 pips target, even if we wanted to hold for the full 2000 pips target. You can see that, right? But on average, we set a 1000 pips target, whereby our 161.8 key level is above, or rather is below a 1000 pips projection. Just like yesterday, it was exactly at 1000 pips from entry, so it qualified for 1000 pips entry. Okay, so we would have used 1000 pips entry for exit on first take profit. Then we also have our next take profit at another 500 pips or 700 pips, because there was about from 161.8 at 4875 to 261.8 at 4818. There was about 500 pips to 600 pips, okay, spread between them, which means that there was opening for another 500 pips of profit for the market to make a full circle move. Then after making a full circle move, the market bounced up to another 2000 pips at 4906, okay, and then corrected back or reversed back into the day's trend to close at 4759, so which completed the 2000 pips projection for our entry from 4887. So having closed and opened for the new day, the market then dipped down by another 1000 pips, okay, to 4655. That made a total of 3000 pips move for yesterday's trading cycle. So with a projection of 2000 pips, our entries are bound to give us 1:10 risk to reward ratio, where our stop loss is set at 200 pips and our take profit is set at 2000 pips on average. Why for quicker exit we can use 1000 pips, which makes it 1:5 risk to reward ratio, or 1500 pips if our 261.8 is around 1500 pips, or we project towards our 261.8 circle limit, which might be 2000 pips or more. It depends on how long the base that we based that projection was. So today we have seen the market made a move of over 2400 pips already. That's from the low of today at 4654 to the high of today at 4902. So that's over 2500 pips or 2400 pips. Then it has still not formed our sell base for the day. So we already could have known that because yesterday's move was completed, okay, and the entry point from yesterday's 261.8 circle limit, having broken it again today, we expect to see a bounce on that. We expect to see a bounce on that level, and that is what has happened. The market broke the 261.8 of yesterday's circle limit and then bounced on the level. So this can be a point where momentum is gained. But even with the bounce, we saw the market went to the 61.8 level and rejected. It came down below the 161.8 level and is currently in between the 161.8 and the 261.8 level. So still the market needs another source of momentum to push towards the previous day's sell base deviation limit at 5008. Let's be sure of that. Previous day's sell base at 5048. So that is still over 2000 pips away from 5052 where price currently is, and we are watching to see how the market gains that momentum. So we want to make our entry or give our first entry for the day when we see a clear base for momentum gain. Right now, there is no base for momentum gain because the market needs to first of all create a new sell base for the day. Okay, haven't struggled above the 261.8 yesterday's circle limit and 161.8 yesterday's levels. Okay, and the market stays in between them. The market now lacks momentum to move in either direction, so it needs to gain momentum to move in either the sell direction or come back down and test first of all the buy base. Okay, deviation limit, reject it and use that gain of momentum from the buy base to go break the new sell base that it's yet to form. Okay, so whichever happens first will give us where we are taking our entry from. For now, no entry until we find that structure. So this is based on the day's trend projection using our buy base and our sell base. Now we also have the price sequence, which is equally important. And still today, we are still looking forward to a trend sequence, buy trend sequence. From what we are seeing here, we have a sequence level that we can base that on. Okay, it's still around 4851 to 4861. So if we see price break above 4861, which currently price is still below 4861, we can have a buy. We project a buy from that level. So until that happens, we keep watching. And that is how we have the day set out for our trading in PSL Cowork Network. Yeah, welcome, Chairman. Yeah, good morning. So we are still early in the day. We have a lot of time on our side to decide for our entry until we find our basis where the market will gain momentum from. All we will do is to observe. While we do this for ourselves, our traders have nothing but to do their personal work in our hubs or at home. So whether working from home or working from our hubs, there is no stress, no emotional toll on our traders. So once you have been trained to work with us, we are not transferring any load of particular work of technical or scientific analysis to you, our worker. We only assign you tasks that you complete between 45 seconds to 4 minutes 50 or 4 minutes 45 seconds. Then we grade every performance with 5 minutes. So which means we are already upscaling, okay, performance. Instead of 45 seconds, we scale it by 10 and you get 4 minutes 50 seconds. Okay, then we round it up to 5 minutes. So which allows you to do up to 12 tasks a day to achieve what your 1 hour work requirement per day. So if we assign you 12 tasks per day, it means you achieve the day's hourly rate. So this is another day, and as it is today, I am starting a day on site without any clear job description or specification, which means I have to wait until a particular area of work would be needing my inputs. Typically, when you are not having a specific job, like you are not given a contract to do and you come to a work site like this, you have to wait until you are assigned a task. And then when assigned a task, it doesn't promise to come with ease. Just because you have been assigned a task doesn't mean you can easily execute the task. And that is one thing that I am trying to work on for those who will be working at the PSL Cowork Hubs. We want to give you that opportunity that we ourselves never had. The opportunity of being certain of the job you will do every morning and knowing that you will have something to do. Now, I am taking the pain to build hubs. Okay, look at what we are working on here. This is a foundation project, okay, and this represents different hubs, points where people will be able to work from once the project is completed, as you can see. However, without certain persons, jobs or projects like this will never see the light of day. We never come to see the limelight. Now, when I as a person have been committing my time to doing things that will help me as a person stay positive throughout the day, enthusiastic, and also productive, I do it for a reason. Some persons know that if you are not an employee of any institution, any enterprise, any business, any corporation, you will have to find a means to fend for yourself. You will have to find your own means to put food on your table. And then, even if you have your family to feed, and maybe you have engaged your wife into one business, small business or the other, you cannot rely on just one source of income. Okay? Even when you have your own small business or a professional service, you still cannot rely on just that source of income. Considering days when you might not have a client, you might not have enough customer, you might not have enough sales revenue generated, how would you take care of the uncertainties and the discomfort of those uncertainties? Okay, the discomfort they bring you in emergencies, how will you take care of them? Will you liquidate your savings, okay, or your investments? Will you run to borrow? How will you meet your needs those days when you cannot dip your hand in the purse of your business or your professional practice or services to get funds that you have saved already? And if you have saved your funds for a particular purpose and an emergency comes up before the time or duration you wanted your savings to last, would you go and alter the plan you have set because of your emergency? Now, thinking about this would give you that push to find alternative income streams. And like I said, creating alternative income streams doesn't come with a promise of ease. If you had to go this route of coming to a project site like this, you will know that just being on site alone is discomforting. Okay? And then, if you are not a carpenter, let's talk about the artisan practices, okay? You are not an electrician, you are not a plumber, okay? What could you be that you will come to a site and be sure of your job? Okay, look at this site here. The jobs for carpenters is already done, okay? And once the job is done, you cannot come to site the next day because you don't have a job to do. The job for electrician has not yet started, you see. So even when that job is available, only one electrician will be given that job. How do you see that? Okay, then we now have other minor jobs that can be going on while the main artisans are not having jobs. So that is why I say even if you were an artisan, it is not every time you have jobs to do. So think about which means will you rely upon to get steady job, steady work that gives you steady income. There is practically none unless you are an employee, and an employee is paid at the end of the month. And I'm talking about being able to generate your own income daily so that when emergency comes, it does not alter your savings plans or your investment programs. Okay? When emergencies come, you can easily get funds elsewhere that does not alter that fixed deposit you have done. Okay? Or you go into borrowing. No. To avoid having debts, you have to know other income streams that have their guarantee of sustainability, okay, and continuity, dependability, and reliability. Okay, consistency and flexibility. How do you find them? And I'm saying that there are none, except that I have started creating a solution for that, and that is in the PSL Cowork Network. So this morning, I'm introducing once again, for those who have not known about the PSL Cowork Network, what I am building. Like I said, this is a project site, a prototypical model of PSL Cowork Network hubs on development ongoing. When hubs like this are set up, there are people who come to work in these hubs that don't have to wait to be given a contract, okay? That they are sure that they will have their jobs to do every day. And these people are professionals like you in whatever field, such that they know that on coming to the hubs, for those who are located nearest to the hubs or those who can travel, okay, and spend 5 days a week in the hub, that's because that is your workplace. So you can travel to spend, like me, I have been on site here and I stay on site for 6 days a week. I leave on Saturday, I come on Monday morning. You can see, so that the work ongoing can also have my touch with my presence. I come to site and I stay 5 days to 6 days a week. So why this project is still ongoing, the project is not yet completed, I'm already always on site. Just like the site manager is always on site, the assistant site manager is always on site, okay? And then those who have their work to do, who have already been assigned a contract, will come to site when they have their own work to do. Now, when our projects are done, we are also looking at those who might want to stay on site, okay, from Monday to Friday and depart on Friday, because our work is for the banking days, like every bank. But bankers cannot stay on site, right? But for those who are far away from our site, they can decide to live around, okay? Either live in the short-let apartments we are building, because that is part of the progenitor sensotic lifestyle, which is called, which is known as PSL, progenitor sensotic lifestyle. It encompasses luxury short-let apartments. However, that is an expensive feature that is meant to serve others in the public. But the hubs, kind of hubs we are building, I mean the temporary hubs, have that feature of accommodation where you can stay in them. But all of these features are not launching yet. We are launching them in phases, and right now the phase we are in is the development phase and the acquisition phase. So for the acquisition phase, we are acquiring temporary hubs, okay, where our traders who are trained from the PSL Luxury Lifestyle or Luxury Trading Masterclass can come and work Monday to Friday, okay? Either they are coming to work, commuting daily, or they are living in the hubs. but the residency part has not been provided. We are still working on that part. So for now, anyone can work remotely. So you can work from your home for now remotely. Now, the most important thing about our work or working with us is that even while working remotely, you are sure of your daily job, daily work that will earn you your pay at the end of every week. Because we have already set our fixed pay at $5 to $9. It is graded as long as we see loyalty from our professionals who have been trained. The hourly rate will be raised as they proceed with us, because the longer we function, the higher our revenue, and which means the better our pay rate per hour will be. So at the starting, we are starting with $5 per hour, and you can work for up to 10 hours per week, up to 10 hours per week. And I have said this is guaranteed job, guaranteed pay, not conditional pay. So there are no days when you will report bad sales or you did not meet your target for the day, so your pay was cut off. Okay, because if we are working on a site like this, if you did not complete the assigned task for a day, you will still not get paid. I mean, at this stage of development, I have put in my own effort also to work on this stage of development, and there are days I did not get paid. Even while I am coming to supervise the project, I'm also working to get the experience others are having. Okay, so the same thing applies to other project sites, that if you did not meet your deadline, if you did not complete the job, you will not get paid. But it is not the same thing with PSL Cowork Network. With PSL Cowork Network, you have tasks that have minimal completion time, and we now have an average screen time that is used for everyone. Welcome to the PSL Luxury Trading Masterclass. For those who are new to the financial markets, what I'm looking at right now is my screen. And on my screen here, I have an asset to be traded. There are a list of assets here. So looking down on my screen here, we have 5 tabs that are, or let's use the first 4 tabs from the left to the right. So this is a quote tab. When you click on it, you are opening the quote screen. Quote screen has number of assets that are available listed by your financial institution or broker. From this list, you can select the type of asset you want to trade. So if you look up there on your screen where you see the quote written at the left hand side, you see the right hand side, you see a plus icon and a pencil icon. You can use the plus icon. Clicking on it will open you different types of assets classes that you can choose from. You can see we have crypto ECN, forex ECN, bullion ECN, forex minor ECN, energy ECN, index ECN. These are different asset classes. Okay, if you choose crypto ECN, you see the type of crypto assets that you can trade listed here. If you see forex ECN, you see the type of foreign exchanges, currencies that you can trade. This is according to the broker. Okay, so the broker has his own list, what is available and what is not available on the quote screen. Bullion ECN has the type of asset you can trade under bullion. Then we have forex minor, the type of also forex assets you can trade. Others we call this forex exotic pairs. We have energy ECN, these are oil-based assets, and then we have index ECN. So what this ECN is showing is that this is an ECN account. Okay, so it can give you another structure based on the type of account you are trading with your broker. So after that, if you have selected the asset you want to trade, all you needed to do is to select the category, then choose the asset. For example, BTC US, I can just select it here by tapping on it and it will go to my quote screen. If you look down here, you see BTC USD. From here, I can see the chart. Okay, you see, I haven't clicked on BTC USD. It gave me new order, open chart. These are the two main things that we would like to click. Either we want to take a new trade
But how can you take a trade when you have not studied the asset? Then you have to open chart. So open chart means you want to study the asset. So, but for members of our scientific trading, we do not put you through the task of studying the market. So we only give you trade instructions. What you'll be using for your action will be to click on new order. So if you click new order, it takes you to the order entry instruction. We call it trading parameters, right? Based on the asset you are given, the name of the asset you are trading. So we'll give you the order type at the top of the screen here, where you see BTC USD, Bitcoin versus US dollar. You see market execution. So we can ask you to place a trade using the different trade orders listed here. I haven't clicked market execution. You can see we have buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, sell stop. Depending on the type of trade instructions you are given, you can choose any of these options here. Then we'll also give you the lot size. So lot size is the second row under market execution. We have 0.01 starting. You can increase it, okay, by adding with the plus. With the right hand side, you see +1, plus, just be adding +1, you get exactly what you want. Or -1 at the left hand side, you will reduce it to what you want, okay? Or plus 0.1, that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, okay? Or -0.1, that would be 10, 20, and so on. So you can add or reduce as the case may be. Then under that, we have the price. Okay, so if we give you a buy stop, for example, you just select buy stop under market execution, then you input the price we have given you. For example, we say buy stop at 70852.65. You just type it there where you are seeing price. We'll give you the profit price, okay? We'll say 70952.65. That will be the profit price. If we give you the loss price, we put it at the left hand side under the red line, okay? But if we not give you the loss price, we just leave that place empty. So let's say we'll give you loss price 70752.65. Then you see place order here. Once you click place, the order will be placed, okay? And that means this trade has been booked, waiting to be activated according to the entry instruction given. All right, so that brings us back to our second screen here. So you remember I clicked the BTC USD for example. Now for us, we do not focus on all these other assets. We focus on one asset, and that is this XAU USD. XAU USD here is gold. This is the asset we specialize in. So if we have been given the instruction, you also do the same thing. You tap on XAU USD on your screen or gold and click on new order. Then you put in all of the information again, or parameters or instructions, okay? So look at market execution. We can give you sell stop, for example. So you use sell stop. We can give you the price. You see, first of all, the lot size. Under the sell stop, you see the next row there, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, as the case may be, okay? Or you reduce it. Now we have price. We can give you price as 4879.93. That's sell stop. We can give you the profit price at the right hand side, green. Under the price, you put that also 7779.93. This is an example. Or if we give you the loss price also, you do it for 89.93. So once that is correctly set as given, you click place, and that order will be placed and booked for you. So typically we'll give you 10 tasks like this per day. That is 10 to 12 tasks like this per day, okay, on different accounts. So if we have given you the instruction or task for the day, the first thing we'll do is to assign you an account to log in. Now if you want to log into an account, when you come to your app, your trading app, you go to quote you see up there is a menu icon, 3 lines, menu icon up there at the top of your screen, left hand side. Just click on that. You select your account name. Okay. For example, you see manage account there. You click manage account. Looking up there, you see the types of accounts available. You can see up there we have plus icon. You click on that plus icon at the right hand side of your screen. You see open a demo account or log into an existing account. You click on log into an existing account. Okay, then we'll give you the broker name. For example, we say CWG. You just type it there, CWG. The option will display. Okay, since we want you to trade CWG live, you choose the first live options available. So CWG Markets Live. Once you choose it, you see your login and password. We'll give you the login and password for the account you want you to log into. Okay, you type the login, you type the password, and you click sign in. Once you do so, you will be signed in and you will see the name of the account at the top of the screen. Okay, once you are signed in. So having done so, you come back down of your screen, you click again the quote tab. That's the first tab at the left. That's the quote tab or quote screen. So this screen gives you a list of all the assets already added to your screen. If you don't want any asset to be on your screen, you click the pencil icon. Ideally, we want to have only SAU USD on our screen. So you just click the pencil icon, click the delete, or you can see that bin icon at the up there. So click on that bin icon. Once you click bin icon, you can highlight every other thing you don't want on your screen there. Like all of this can be highlighted out, and there you click on the bin icon to delete them. For example, you see that has been deleted, now leaving what you want on your screen. So for example, we want only SAU USD on our screen. For example, that is what you will now have left on your screen when you go back. Okay, now follow the trade instructions we have given you. You click on the asset itself, which is SAU USD. Click on new order and you will be able to see the tab where you place all the entries. Okay, that is called the trade tab. So where is the trade tab? Underneath our screen here. If you come down, that is the third tab from the left to right. Okay, we have the first tab is the quote, second tab is the chart, and third tab is the trade tab, and that is where you go to having placed your entries. So now if you are not coming from the quote tab, which is the first tab from the right, you are coming from the trade tab directly, you can look up there, you see the page icon which has a plus at the center of it, top right hand. Also click on that page icon and go back to the order execution menu, okay, or dialog box. So this is where you input the trade instruction, just the same way you did when you click on new order. Okay, input the trade instructions and click place, and that will be it. Now when you want to send us your report, you come to the fourth tab from your right. Okay, fourth tab from your left to right, that is the history tab. Now that history tab, you click a screenshot. Okay, for example, let's look at last week. If you took any trade, you click a screenshot. Last month, if you took any trade, you take a screenshot. Or on the same day, you can see here today, if you are taking any trade, you take a screenshot and send us the report. Now you have to do this after every task has been taken. For example, you have just placed this trade like this. Okay, if you come to this trade, you see that there is a record here showing the time of execution. All right, time of execution. So take a screenshot of this screen. Just click on the trade that you have placed. Okay, just as soon as you place it and you take a screenshot. When you take a screenshot, we will see the time of entry. Okay, and we'll see the date so that we can award you points for it. Now we have number of points for each task completed. During the test, when you are taking your test, you go through this process all over. All right, so for now, this is the basic introduction to how to work with us in our PSL Cowork Hub. You only take instructions, execute it on your own end after logging into the account assigned to you. Now I want to explain something that you can't find anywhere else. Now let's look at this chart. I'm coming to gold, which is our main asset. In 2026, gold has been one of the most surprising assets to trade. Many people have almost abandoned it because they see the volatility on gold as extreme and they don't have a strategy for it, right? But I want to explain the two things that we do to make sure that we can always trade gold effectively every day, despite the change that has happened. So first thing we did was, at the beginning of the day, we look for what is called our entry basis, either buy base or sell base, and we mark it. So when we mark the buy base and sell base, if we see the first, let's assume that the day started with a sell base, okay, we'll mark the sell base first until we see a buy base, then we mark the buy base. Those will be the first point we are going to mark. Then we watch how the market reacts to the deviation limits. Now, our deviation limit has a fixed parameter that we set. Before now, we used to use a 30 pips parameters for the deviation limit. But since 2026, when the market changed in the order of price movement, okay, the volatility of the market was raised. We decided to also upgrade our own scale. So we upgrade our scale by 10 times. That means that using our channel projection tool, we have to increase our deviation limit, okay, from 30 to 300 pips. And once we have done so, we'll have the projection for the day. So let's use a previous day, for example. This was a previous day, and we have the first base that formed there was a buy base. Then there was no sell base, okay, until we found a sell base up here. Now, if you have this kind of structure, you set your buy base, wait for buy base break to know the direction of the market for the day. Okay, let's say we want to do that now. I'm going to bring in the tool, place it accordingly, measure the basis. Okay, now I want to measure the deviation limit of the buy base that formed first. So 4923.48 would give me 4893.48. That would be the projection, 4893.48. For 893 0.48. That will be the deviation limit I'm setting here. Then I'll have to make sure that the higher price and the middle price are equal to stretch out the line, and then set the end point of the line so I can extend to the end of the day. Then I will rename my tool, and that is buy base. Since that was buy base, I am marking. Then I'll show that I have upscaled it, so I'll do 10x break entry projection abbreviated. So now I have that marking done. Let's see, I did not equate this price. The middle price and the higher price will be equal to straighten that too. So now I have marked the first level, okay, because the first base that formed for the day was a buy base. So the rule for this trading is that when the buy base breaks, the market is going to go down, okay. Now we are waiting for a sell base to form, and the sell base formed at this point. So we'll mark the sell base when it's formed also, so that we see how the market plays around it. So now this is our sell base. Then I'll also try to get the deviation limit accurate. So 5059 will be 5089.91. 5089.91. 5089.91. Then I will equate the prices. The higher price and the middle price we have to be equal. Then I will rename the two to sell base break entry projection. Remember, I'm doing 10x, so that's 10x. So I'll know that I have already upgraded my scale. Then I need to extend the line, so let me use the next date for that extension. So now I have the two bases formed. All right, I have my sell base down and I have my buy base down and my sell base down. So now you wait for the market to break any of the base. Everything that happens before the market breaks the base is none of your business. Now let's look at what happened yesterday rather. So the market, having created the buy base, okay, went all the way up over, let's look at that. How many pips was that? Over 1,700 pips. Okay, 1,700 pips. Now it has created the sell base at 1,400 pips. Okay, 1,400 pips, and yet you are not trading yet because you wanted to see where your sell base from and how the market would react to the deviation limit. So right now, see, the market came up and they reacted to the deviation limit of the sell base, did not break the sell base, rejected it multiple times. This was the first engagement and it rejected it. You did not take an entry, okay? First, because you are looking for a breakout and the market rejected it. Come back again, the market went again, engaged with it and rejected it. You did not take an entry. And then how many times of rejection? Remember, in every rule of entry, you take your entry based on rejection or reversal when the level has been tested 3 times, okay? So this is first touch, second touch, third touch. And if it closes in a bearish pattern, in this case, it closed in a bullish pattern, so you did not take an entry. You waited here for the market to come and touch again. At the third touch, the market rejected. On the closing of this candle, you have got your entry. All right, so right now, if you took your sell from this point, you will be trading based on confirmation rule. But remember, I said that this is not for our workers at the PSL Cowork Network. Our workers don't do this analysis, but I'm explaining this to show that we already have a technical tool for tracking the changes that has happened in the market, and also we are making it to align with our scientific trading method. So, but for now, we are doing the projection. All right. So this is where you would have taken your entry based on reversal structure. That the market has engaged, haven't gone up all this while. It did not break. You wanted to buy if it broke here, but it didn't break here. Remember, and the market has already moved 1,700 pips to this point. So you are still expecting a break because that is your rule says enter on a break, okay, of the basis deviation limits. That is your entry level. And you set your take profit for, like, in this new case, if it was before now, your take profit would have been 200 pips. But because of the upgraded scale of the market, we are now going to be setting our take profit for 2,000 pips. So everything has been moved to 10x, while the deviation limit moved from 30 pips to 300 pips. So right here, the market rejected, and now you can expect the market to come back and retest. That is where you are going to take your entry. Come back and retest the buy base. Since it failed to break the sell base, it means this sell base will create a momentum for the market to come back to the buy base and use that momentum to break the buy base. So let's see where the buy base is. The deviation limit of the buy base is at 4892. Let's see if the market came to 4892 and broke it. Let's see. Okay, so this is when the market came down to 4892. Okay, and this we are the rejection. Market could not break it. That's why it came with that momentum from the upside. So if you are sold, you'd have been in profit, and the market comes to retest the sell-based deviation, the buy-based deviation limit, okay? And haven't come there, see what the market did, rejected it multiple times, all right? First rejection, second rejection, third rejection. And again, look at this point, there was no break. And you expected that the market would have gained momentum from here. Is that not so? But it did not gain momentum. And your rule says in every reversal trading, once the market has gained momentum in any point, from any point to the other point, and rejects it 3 times, you can look for a reversal candle and see where you found a reversal. This was first, second, third, and it closed with a reversal pattern. Okay, that is a pin bar, which means that you would have bought here. You see that, right? And if you bought here, you have been setting your SL somewhere down here, all right? And the market moved up gradually, came back down. But at this point, remember, you've taken your first profit. You've taken your what? First profit for the sell. So now, reversal entry gave you this candle entry you bought here, okay, 4904. And of course, the market came down to hit your stop loss the first time, definitely, on that reversal entry. It moved into profit first, okay, gave you about 300 pips, but came back down and took you out, okay. Then you are looking forward to an entry. The market comes back down again, created a reversal pattern. You can see this candle here. This is your reversal pattern, so this will be your entry candle, okay, 4910. And at that buy, you place your stop loss again below the deviation limits. Okay, so let's look at that. This is 09 to 99 to 89. So you place it at 89, 200 pips because of the upgraded scaling. Remember, before now, stop loss is 20 pips, but right now, stop loss is now 200 pips. Okay, if you are giving stop loss, even without stop loss, so you use an account that can accommodate 200 pips deviation, which means that if the market goes 200 pips, you lose your trade. If the market does not go 200 pips, you can stay in for profit. So right now, when you took this second entry, the market preserved your capital, and there you bought back up again to go and engage with. Let's look at where that deviation limit is at. Deviation limit is at 5089. The market did not make it back to 5089, did it? The market did not make it back to 5089, and the day ended with the market back up, okay, to 5023. So at this point, you should have made your profit on the entry you took from this point, okay? That's from 4908 all the way 1000 pips take profit average to 2000 pips when there is a break, okay? So here the market went to 1000 pips. You made 1000 pips of profit at this point. Now again, the new day began, and you want to do the same thing. Let's look at the first 2 bases that formed. So the first base that formed today was a buy base, okay? So this is the projection 2 based on the buy base that formed, and the sell base. All right, so let's mark for the sell base also, even while the market has broken the buy base. So today's market was a buy base break. Okay, so this is it. We are marking the sell base that formed. So how to mark your bases? This is just for the record. It's not a class. You place the first line on the opening price. Let's say the low or the opening price, depending on if it's a bullish candle, or the high or opening price. Okay, if it's a bearish candle, the first candle that formed the base. Now let's measure the closing price or the high in a bullish candle, okay, or the closing price or the low in a bearish candle. But in a base formation, we are using only the closing prices. So closing price of the candle that closes the break. So we have the candle that starts the break, and we have the candle that starts the base and the candle that ends the base. Okay, so the candle that starts the base, you start your first line. Then to measure your deviation limit, you measure the closing price of the candle that ends the base. So here the candle that ends the base is 5018 closing price. So we have to now add 300 pips to that if it's a bullish candle, or 300 pips subtracted if it's a bearish candle. So this is a bullish candle for a sell base. Okay, so 5018 to 5048.53. 5048.53. 5048.53. Then we make the center price equal to the higher price, 099496. Then also we rename it, that is a sell base 10 times break entry projection. So that is that. Now you see that when the market formed the sell base, it has not gone to engage with the sell base, right? But it came down and broke the buy base deviation limit. So breaking on the buy base deviation limit tells you that you're going to place an entry from this break. Remember, stop loss is what? Stop loss is 200 pips and take profit is 2000 pips. So if you took your profit, if you took your entry from the break of this base, that's 4966. Okay, as it breaks, you take your entry as a sell entry. Okay, or in this case, since we give you the entry parameters, you don't even need to check your chart to know what we are asking, but this is the principle behind the entries we give you. So we place our entry 20 pips below, okay, even before the break. 20 pips below the break, the base. 20 pips below the break, as this is a sell stop entry, okay? In some cases, the market is going to reject it, of course, and bounce on it. So we use 20 pips below. We can also use 200 pips below, but whatever case it is, that will make the stop loss not to be realistic. So we use 20 pips below and the 200 pips stop loss afterwards. So here, 20 pips below 4964, when we have 4966, okay, so 4964. We place a sell stop, and then your take profit is 2000 pips, so it will be 4764. And you see the market went down but did not get to the take profit. It rejected and bounced back up. Okay, so but you made above 1000 pips of profit. We set the take profit accordingly and the stop loss accordingly. So that was how the market went for the day. Now this is the structure we use for our entries to do the projection. Even when gold has become very volatile, we trade it with our own scientific trading method. That means that we don't have to trade emotionally. We trade based on the bases that are formed. And let's look at how the market respects the bases. See where the market engage with the key levels. Here you see that there are rejections. Going back to those levels, you see that there are rejections, okay? Multiple rejections. Then usually our take profit is at 2618. Once we see that projection, that is our take profit, okay? And here, see the market made it to that take profit price accurately, if you wanted to do that, okay? We also have take profit levels.
Make you come to with me in my place. When you go fi come, maybe this Friday. Me and you will be chilling in my room. We go listen to some songs and my be spiky. Maybe we could do this to the midnight. Yeah, because I want you. Yes, I want you. Yeah, and every day gonna be missing you. You know, 15 I say you they miss me too. Cause I know say now my music you they listen to. Your pictures on my wall everywhere, in my house, in my parlor, in my room, in my kitchen too. Baby girl, you know say me I see you. Yeah, because I love you, yes I love you.